Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever, whenever, whoever and however you are. Today I'm working on another page of Minty and Macky. This one I sketched out a bit ago. It's gonna take me a minute to readjust to it. I haven't drawn it all yet today. But I sketched this a few days ago. Not a few days ago, a week ago, maybe. I was working on it a bit last night. Keep coming back to it. This is actually, instead of being an entirely new and fresh page, it is a redo of a page that I had done previously. The page that I had drawn previously, I had drawn years and years and years ago, but it was more of a sample page, testing out the art style that I wanted to use for this. And the art style isn't a huge diversion from my regular work. It was more so a color palette thing. I did consider rendering this book, doing it more painterly, full color, etc., etc. But I played around a little bit and ended up deciding to stick with, or go with, since it wasn't the original plan, stick with wouldn't be quite correct. I decided to go with this more stylistic approach. Limited color palette, heavy on the line work. To be clear, I do quite like rendered works. I talked about this the other day, but I love grainy, soft work. I love when every corner is a color shift. But I very much enjoy the process of making line work. How it feels to spread inky black across the page. It feels like carving when I do line work, like molding clay. I do a lot of erasure in my process. I don't aim to make a perfect line, I aim to make something out of something. For example, a lot of the times when I'm making a line, I might on purpose throw down a little extra so I can shape it away in the way that I like. It's one of those things that wouldn't translate very well to traditional. But I'm not working in traditional, am I? The tail of this cloud is giving me trouble. I'll set my opacity up way too high. Something. Maybe I'll leave the tail as it is. And the page would cut off around here anyways, because of bleed and trim lines, bending, though I'm not sure whether it would be bending here or here. Just a little bit. Just a little drop. Can't keep going every day. Think I'm a little bit. I don't know how I feel about these dots. They feel like they're going somewhere. It's not how I would normally do a cloud though. These little nodules. I drag that out too far. Maybe I should fill in this entire divot corner. It looks like an underbelly. Perhaps it's some sort of bug or turtle. Now, instead of undoing everything, what I'll do is I'll duplicate, turn off the original version, freehand, and select all of this. Every itty bitty pixel of it. We're getting close. Same with up here too. Like a little divot notch. What do I like? This feels like slightly too much. There's so much character in having it. I think I know what it needs. Either I need to drag this out slightly, not too much. Or what it could be. Oop. Okay. Maybe I just need to redo the thing that I did before and make it more of a definitive circle instead of all these tiny ones. No, because that's still not quite right. What is it about you? Perhaps first instincts were correct. I'll stay with the underbelly. With the top of it will be carapace, right? The abdomen and the carapace. I believe so. But I'm no bug scientist or aquatic. Bring me my water bugs. Bring me crustacean nation. Crustacean elation. Crustacean determination. Crustacean. There's this bird, I think it was Australian, I'm not super sure, but it's a bird that has these giant feet. It's a blackbird. Not a blackbird isn't a blackbird, but a bird that is black. And it was like, I think it's Australian. It has these giant feet and all of the, I'm not sure if this was just one person's account or if it was just on any picture of that bird, but all of the comments would be like, they would end in Asian, right? Like A-T-I-O-N. Determination, inflation. I can't think of a lot of monetization, capitalization, initiation, birdification, but everybody commenting would be in all caps, tons of exclamation marks. Kind of like when there's a video of a beetle and people say, whatever my scarab, and then follow it up. I do love the scarab ones. I'm not super happy with how this sun is turning out, but I might just need to finish it. We'll see how I feel by the end of it. Oh, you know what it is? Or at least in part. It's the way that I'm making the eyes shine. They should be scrabbly like the rest of the cloud. Blending in. Should I do that for the head as well? Yes, I should. I absolutely should. Someone commissioned me for a tattoo design the other day. It was a clown version of Coco, which I absolutely love doing. I love drawing clowns, I love drawing Coco, and I love doing tattoo designs. I've had a few people commission me for tattoo designs, but they've never sent a picture of the full tattoo, or any tattoo once they got it. She said that she will though, so I'm very excited for that. Every time that I get a tattoo commission, I consider becoming a tattoo artist. The only thing with that is that were I to do tattoos, I'd have to spend time on that and not making stories. This sun isn't turning out super well, to be honest. I suppose the eyeballs they're good, but they don't match the rest of it. They matched it more before when they were still kind of grungly. I don't want to give them too much shine because then they won't blend with the rest of the clouds. You know what I could do? Here, and then erase. Erase, erase, erase. Select, turn the layer off, go here, and then just, it's decent, it's not perfect though. I'll go back and clean up. Just my name, your spoon all of this done. Cool. Interesting. Okay, I think that looks good. Wait, maybe I shouldn't be making the sun dark. Oh, but I like how it blends with the clouds. But it is a sun. Ooh, that does look cute. Okay. Copy. Okay. I spent so long on this cloud portion. Oop, no. Merge down. Merge down. Disappear. Moving all the way under. Merge down. What's over here? Got him. Scratchy, scratchy. For the other layer. Down. No. Put you down here. Before I continue on with that, what I wanted to do last night, now that I'm remembering, I wanted to finish up the line work that goes with this sketch layer. Just because that means that I can delete that sketch layer. Okay, that flower, oh my gosh, looks all awkward there. Perhaps right here? But also, this is not the goal right now. What are you doing, Miss Ma'am? Going for the shovels. There's this one book called Shovel Ready. I listened to the audiobook and oh my goodness, it is fantastic. I listened to it a few years ago and then I listened to it again a few years later. I don't remember a ton. Well, I don't have the best memory in the world, I'll be fully honest, but I remember that it was a bit of a horror thriller type thing. A little bit Matrixy, but not very much. It's one of those stories where people go into virtual realities. Again, if I'm not mixing this up with a different story, but people go and sleep in virtual realities and stuff. The main character, I believe he was an ex-hitman. And either he was nicknamed Shovel or nicknamed after a shovel brand, or maybe it was a garbage brand. Did they call him the Garbage Man? Something like that. Maybe garbage bag brand. Another book that I really liked was Fiend by Peter Stenson. That was a pretty good book. Another book I used to love was The Call by Peter O'Golin. Though I haven't listened to that in so long. It might be too edgy for my taste now. But who knows? Okay. I reckon I'll probably go back to these shovels later. Put a little more dirt on them, probably shade them a little bit. I also need to go back and make some of these graves empty, dug up piles of dirt and all. This is going to be a bit of a background heavy page. I saved a good chunk of the background heavy pages for last. Though I do quite like them. I do like doing backgrounds. They take longer, obviously, and that can be a con when you're on a time crunch. But, well, it is a con when you're on a time crunch. Point blank. There's no real arguing with that. But God, I love doing backgrounds. I love pretty much every part of the process. I love doing backgrounds. I love doing hands. I love doing flowers. I love doing outfits and outfit design. I love doing outfit designs. Oh my goodness. As I've gotten older, I've gotten somewhat embarrassed about my interest in fashion or clothes. Fear that people will not take me seriously and see me as frivolous. Using myself as frivolous, but it is a passion. I do love it. When I was a kid, I would have these they were sketchbooks where the figure was already drawn. They were fashion sketchbooks where you draw the clothes on top, and I loved drawing in those. I loved sewing little outfits for my dolls, and I loved sewing embroidery, doing DIYs, fabric paint. Especially in my emo phase, I made myself a zillion jackets. I'll probably sell them at some point, either this year or next year. I don't really wear my edgy clothes anymore. But someone will like them, and someone will want them. Was I sketching on the wrong layer? What was I just doing? I was adding line thickness. It's a new friend, that's what it was. I had this one jacket that I painted in glow-in-the-dark paint. All of it was glow-in-the-dark. It was a raven. It's a little bit tilted and off-center, but it was a raven who said the word greed in big bold letters. There wasn't really a message with that. I just thought it would be cool, and it was cool. I was right, and I'm always right. And even when I change my mind later, I've always been right, and I will never stop being right. I was so sure of things back then. Getting older just feels like I was gonna say it feels like sinking further and further into a pool of uncertainty, of possibility, but that doesn't really capture the scope of it. I have little to no convictions, and I lose them as I get older and older, but you can't live by uncertainty. You can live in absurdity, but uncertainty, whatever. You can live in uncertainty, but you can't live by it. You can't live in accordance with it, right? You have to make a move eventually. Well, you don't have to, but if you don't, you kind of lose in every aspect. Everything is uncertain. There is no truth, but you have to pick one in order to do something. in order to move, in order to change. You can never be sure that you're right, but you just gotta take your best guess and hope and move forward. Mistakes are inevitable, they are probable. And you can sit and think and dwell and go over it as many times as you want. You will never get that neon sign that tells you, right this way. It tells you, go ahead. It tells you, A+. It tells you, you've made the right choice. You just gotta hope. It'd probably be kind of cool to have a book or a comic that's all sketchy like that. And sketchy like that, but you'd also like add a few bold lines in just to make sure everything's clear. You know, like that. You'd still have all those sketchy little remnants. Cleaned up sketches, I suppose. Not this one though. I've already committed myself to it. Purposeful, intentional. It's not clean per se. It's clean with intentional dirt. I have to be careful with my speaking because I'm still sleep deprived. If you could look into my eyes, you'd see deep sockets. Purple smears. I feel like my vocabulary shrunk. I haven't been listening to audiobooks lately. I probably should. There's good stuff out there, I just need to find it. I am doing it on the right layer. The look in your palms, tar in your brain. I'm convinced that there's no good and right words to say. I can feel the blood in my ear. Does that ever happen to you sometimes? You're just sitting and you feel the pressure. Like on the highway, after a big hill, or perhaps in an airplane, or maybe a very long train ride. It goes up, up, up. The kind that happens when take a train to Mars? You ever been on a train to Mars? Tomatoes should be coming in soon. I think I need to sketch this one out actually, instead of just freehanding coal. Make it a little easier on myself. Oh, he's so flattened out. Okay, hold on. The spikes, they're getting too far away there, that's the issue. And that makes the rest of it feel flattened. That one's too agree with the second one there. Okay. A bit like an egg. So many things are like fried eggs. A lot of the best shapes are just fried eggs, let's be honest. Let's all be truthful here. Another light. Okay. Bring it down. Let's do center point. It's like a flower. Then we also have to have two, and we also have to have two. All the lonely people, where do they all belong? There we go. There we go. Now we can finish you off. It's way too dark. And when it comes to opacity for sketches, I like to keep it down around somewhere between 12% and 8%. Occasionally 6% maybe, if the background is fully white, but I keep it so low so that I can see what I'm actually doing on the linework layer. The sketch layer should just barely be there, because what it does is, you know, a lot of art and artistic skill is not just your motor skills, but it's being able to see, right? Being able to look and assess and reassess what you're doing. And so when your sketch layer is too high, what that does is it messes with your ability to assess it. You know, you can be trained to be used to trying to look past the sketch layer, but having it down lower helps you get a bigger feel, or a better feel for everything. balancing the shapes and the values and everything in your head will be affected by anything that's on the page. That also relates a little bit to why, if you're doing just, plain old pieces, and it can be a good idea to texture the page beforehand. Just slap down some random shapes and colors and brushes, because it gives you something to work off of, something to balance, somewhere to go. I think I'll take a break for now, and then I'll come back to this. I'll see you in a second. I'm back. Hello. Someday I will do something about this squeaky chair, but probably won't be any day soon. I'm quite lazy about those sorts of things. For instance, I've needed to get new sneakers for probably a year, and I'm at the point where my old ones are completely busted. But I still don't want to go shoe shopping. This chair has been squeaky and a bit of a menace ever since I got it. To be clear, I got it for free. It wasn't a purchase or a return that I could have made. But I still haven't replaced it. I'm the type of person who wants to use something till it breaks and then some. Which is good, but I suppose there just isn't much fun in buying things. For me, anyways. Maybe one day I'll get lucky and I'll just see someone put a chair out on the curb. And it'll be perfect, drawing height. Should I don't think I want to put more bubbles here, but oh, that's a tough decision. Let's see it without. That is a tough decision. Looks good either way. I believe I like it with, I'll leave it for now, but I'll keep it on its own layer just in case. I also want to texture this a little bit. Well, it's less about the texturing, more about the value. The darkness. The darkness. Evanescence type of seriousness. No. What's that song that's like, I know it's not by Evanescence, but what's that song that's like, if only you could see the darkest part of me, da 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 da, the end in what I have become, it's not the real me. I might put this back in a second, but I want to see how it looks shaped away. Ooh, that's a tough choice. Cleaner and more sensical, but not as much sauce to it. I think it does need to be taken away. With art, there's both being aesthetically pleasing, but also making sure that something reads correctly. That you communicate your idea correctly. A page, especially in comics, also picture books as well, obviously, but in comics it's very, very important. Communication is king, as I like to say. I'm sure someone else has said it before, but it doesn't matter how appealing or aesthetic or pretty your page is if it doesn't get your point across quickly and clearly. You will find moments where it is in your best interest to sometimes sacrifice a cool pose or cool lighting or whatever it is in favor of making things make sense, making things read correctly. I love it. I'm very pleased with how this is turning out. Put a little rose in their cheeks, a little life in their blood. That's cute. I was going to forget the ear stripes. That's no good. Doing it correctly, right? Yes. Did I? I didn't even add the little bite in his ear. I'm gonna have to go back and fix that. Okay. So it's his left, our right. Let me shimmy on down. Shimmy on down to drawing down. Okay, we'll go about here. Yeah, that seems right. About there. I won't do the line and the stitching just because it's too small and in such a crunched area. I don't think it would be in best interest, but I will definitely shade it. One thing about this is that normally the comic pages that I draw are actually sized to be about the same, not exactly the same size as the iPad screen, but pretty close, see? So when I'm drawing, I can look at things at scale. This is the Coco Mimsy one, but I can look at things at scale of how big they are going to be when they're printed. But with this, it's, I believe, 10 by 7 or 10 by 7.5, something around there, which means that it's not quite to scale. And I do want it to be big when it's printed, but it makes it slightly harder to judge how it's gonna show up. If I'm learning anything from doing these videos, it's that I need to work on my pronunciation. But also, working on my pronunciation feels like talking in all capital letters. I don't get this comment quite as much now as an adult, but when I was younger, I was often told that I mumble a lot. I slur my words together. Let's do, I would like to put another grave around there. Just gotta figure out how to set it up. I'll do a dirt pile here. It could even go beneath the wheelbarrow, actually. And then I have patches of grass springing up. As for the next cloud, I'm going to adjust its position a little bit. I kind of want to put stars in the sky, but it's supposed to be daytime. Then again, sometimes you have a moon at 12 o'clock. You never really see stars during the day, though. I wonder if there's a part of the world where you can. That would be cool. This is fiction. Hypothetically, I could do anything I wanted to. Maybe. The thing is, it's that thing that I said earlier again about something needs to read. Maybe I can do birds, though, to replace the specks in the sky. Flock of birds. Maybe they're vultures. Maybe it's murder crows. Wait, what if I had a big old vulture just sitting on one of the... Would that be too distracting? Oh, but it would... Oh, I really want to. Big bald vulture. But the problem with that is that if I were to add an animal like that, something like this, it's just a few lines, you're not going to think about it too hard. But adding in more creatures, puts in that question in a person's mind of what's the rules here when you have animal people. But then again, if this is within the Kokomimsy universe, then it would already be addressed. One other... This chair is so squeaky. One other problem that I anticipate with this is that this vulture would be a very similar size to Minty, Macky, and new friend. So if I wanted to include a vulture, I'd either have to make it very big and in the foreground, which will be distracting, or very, very small. Well, I think the vulture is not in the cards today, as much as I want it to be. I would like to put... I'm almost happy with the balance on this. Once I add in, you know, the cloud, there'll be plenty of dark over there to help balance it out, but I want to add something here, I think. Maybe I could do a very tall tombstone. Maybe I could do one of those. They're like little cement houses that have a bunch of graves on the inside. Not graves, caskets, tombs. One of those mini tomb places. Perhaps with an angel on top. But is that too distracting? Because we come yet again to the question of a figure. Perhaps if I make the head small, unlike the creatures. It's hard to say. It also looks a bit out of place. I do like the idea of having an angel on the page, but maybe that's just because I like the idea of drawing an angel. Shape-wise, I'm not sure if it's meant to be here. It's probably best without. As for this, I kind of want to extend it. Not kind of want to extend it, I very much want to extend it. Bring it up high, high, high. But would I want it to cut into the cloud? I think I would. Make it stretch and distort. I should probably... I could bring the cloud down to it. Though I would still want it to be marginally taller than these two. Well, these three. I was gonna say three, and then I corrected myself in my head, and then by the time it left my mouth, I realized I was right the first time. Did that ever happen to you? Probably happens to everyone. Ooh, I should put... Could I put a snake? No, but that might feel allegorical. No snake. Perhaps some bugs. I could put a big centipede crawling on this tombstone. Headstone. What is the difference between a tombstone and a headstone? Is it size? Sculpture? Hard to say. I could probably just look it up. I'd like to keep drawing, but I actually have to stop because I'm running out of storage on my phone. I'll have to clear out my gallery next time before I record. Anyways, good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And if they do, bite them back even harder. I'll see you next time.